Hello folks, I'm going through like my videos and I'm going to replace them with hopefully shorter versions and better versions. So this is the one I did the other day, saying people don't believe in God because they see church, etc, etc. So okay, let's have a go at that. Father, please help me with this one. Lead me please. Well, the point of the video is quite simple, is that we've just been through that horrific situation of COVID. And what did people see in the church? They saw the churches all shut down. Yeah, and then when people look at their community, they look at the fact there's all these churches in their community. What are they doing? Well, pretty much nothing. Okay. Well, from what the people outside the church can see, nothing. They're not doing anything. I'm not saying the churches aren't doing anything, but I'm saying that's how it looks from the outside, obviously. And then they see the people, and they see the people are still struggling. They're still barely surviving. Excuse me, how can God love us? And look at your life, I see that your life you're not thriving. How is that a blessing? How is that glorifying God in any way, shape or form? Again, so people look at that and say, well, God's supposed to love us. But these people have the same sort of lives as we do. There doesn't seem to be any identifiable differences between their life and my life. So people don't believe in God because of what they see in the church. They see the church and they see churchgoers and Christians, and what they see is themselves. They see there being no particular benefit at all from going to church. You can be part of something, but you can be part of something if you're part of a family. If you've got a job, you can be part of that. Those people. Yeah, the family of the job. You can be part of the council people, or that sort of thing. Political stuff, part of that as well. So why go to the church? If you want to see changes, political things are better for most people. That's how they think, because they can make changes for their area through that, because they don't see the church doing anything about the issues and helping people in their area. Yeah, the reality is that the way that things should be now. If you're thinking about, as I've said before, the word progression. If the church had progressed from the early church, which it didn't. No, we understand. I mean, if you understand history, then you understand that the Catholic Church basically took over when Constantine came in and made Catholicism basically the Roman Empire, or the way to continue the Roman Empire, and basically dominated the whole church scene for a good 1,000 years, that sort of thing. And they crushed any church that wasn't of that. Any church that spoke differently, they crushed. They attacked and crushed it. Okay. That slightly changed when we had the Protestant church, which then, come up to where we are now. But if there had been a progression at any point in time, even a progression, okay, from the Protestant church to now, has there been a major progression of people doing things God's way? No. Minor. In some areas you'll see progressions, yes. In some churches you'll see progression. But in most areas, no, there's no progression at all. Yeah, people are struggling just as they were years ago. 200 years ago. Well, things are a bit different now and better now, because we've got cars, we've got planes, we've got heating, we've got fridges and that sort of thing now, which they didn't have before. We've got computers now, and we can talk to people a lot faster now. But are people struggling less now than were before? Not really. It's slightly different, but the struggling is the same, basically. In church, people in church, not out of church. So the problem is, it's still a case of people doing things their way and not doing things God's way. Yeah, the one I just did about blind to seeing, unable to able. It was a very simplistic way, of course. Well, because it was only a very quick video, it had to be a very simplistic way. But of course, with God leading and guiding, there's a way of taking a church from blind to seeing, from unable to able, in a very, very quick space of time. It doesn't need to take years to do that. And there is no plan, because there's nothing you can take from one church to another. Each church you have to go into and deal with it differently, because it's a different church with different people. So there's no real plan. There's no 3-point plan or plan A, plan B, that sort of thing. No. It's up to God how to deal with a church. But we have to deal with it. That's the point. We have to deal with it because it's so important. Yeah, and my issue is being in a church and not saying anything. Because if I'm a church, the people in church don't even know. Oh my God, they don't know. When I'm in church, I want to stand up and scream, wake up. That's what I want to do. Stand up and say, stop that. Wake up. See where you are. See what you're doing now. But of course you can't do that. So the problem is sometimes, if I see ridiculous things, like that thing about the worship conference. At the end of the worship conference, you do 2 songs that are basically, singling out Yeshua as the only one worthy at the Trinity. It's like, no, that's demonic. It's demonic, and you're doing it in church. For goodness sake, it's the end of a worship conference and you're doing that demonic crap. Really? So I had to say something because it had come to that. Ugh. It really is. I mean, say you take someone who's not churchy into a church. It is really difficult if you're not churchy to deal with church, because church is a different thing completely. It's not like the world, where it is like the world in a lot of things, because they do things the world's way. But yeah, what you expect and what you see is completely different, and it made you mad, completely mad when you see it. You're thinking, how? But you don't understand because you're not like them. So yeah. Well, I just seen the pastor now. I went down to a shop to maybe get some food and some other stuff, and yeah, I walked round. Didn't really have everything I wanted, so I thought I'd go back another day. As I'm in the area, I'll pop in the church, see how this soup thing went. And the pastor was there, so I went and said hello to him. Said hello to a few other people. And yes, that went well. So it's like, okay. Yeah. That's the point. I mean, I would love, even him, I'd love to get to know him, because he's a church leader with an understanding of churchy, which I don't have. Yeah, he can probably understand where the people are coming from. I can't. So also you can understand it from a leader position. So if I could know him better, that might help me. So hopefully that will happen. Hopefully. So the point is about this issue is people outside of the church need to believe in God. It's up to us to show that. When they see us, they should be seeing God. Are they seeing God? I don't know. But that's the point. At the moment, I think no. Well, I think the reality is clearly no when you look at how society is. What to do about it? I don't know. I don't know. Well, because as I say, the problem in church is you can have meetings about the way things are in society, and people will pray the big Hail Mary prayers and stuff like that and be almost in tears, but then next week they've completely forgotten about it. They moved on to whatever subject is now. And with that being the case, you won't see the change. You won't, unless people understand that it is all about them out there now. For each of us individually, it has to be about ourselves, the people in church, and the people outside the church. But the problem is, in most churches, it's about us and the people in church, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not about the people at church, really, because that's not really my job. Yeah, I'm not that sort of ministry. So I know it's important, of course. You've got to get the people in, because they're God's people and they need God. So you've got to get them in. How to talk to them and get them in? Well, as I say, in the future, hopefully it'll be different, because hopefully God will be in charge completely and we will do it His way completely. Yeah, and bring heaven down and basically walk it down and walk it through the world. And that's how it's going to be done. If that's going to happen, that would be absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the point. I mean, the reason why it's difficult for me, especially, I can't say other people. Yeah, God gave me that dream all those years ago. Okay. But then also God's pointing to me about the people out there, and there's this massive harvest that needs to come in. But the way the church is now, if that harvest came in, we'd lose most of them. So, okay, there's an urgency to get the church right for a number of reasons. Yeah, there are people being lost, and there are people in church who are going to go to hell if we don't sort it out. That's a reality. Of course it is. That's something that's going to happen, and it'll be bloody horrendous for those people, because of the fact the devil and the demons are going to torture those people, just saying, you're in church. Yeah, you should be in heaven now because you're in church. Yeah, and they will curse all the people in church for not basically telling them about their issues and help them to deal with those issues. So, yeah, it's about those people, and it's about the people outside. Yeah, for me, let God deal with everything else. Because He will. If you give your life completely to God, He will deal with everything. But if you think you can deal with anything at all, if you think you can be in control of anything, then all of it is in your control. God won't do anything, because He wants you to know you can't be in charge. So He will let you be in charge to basically help you to see that's mad. Stop doing that, because it won't work. So as soon as we can know that, that's better. Because, yeah, it's about us, it's about the people in church, and it's about the people outside the church. It's about relationship with God, with each other, and helping those people to know God. So there you go, I'm going to leave it to it. This will do to replace the one that I originally did a few days ago, so yeah. Right, so you take care, God bless, I'll speak to you soon. Have a wonderful week, and be blessed. Just be blessed. Have that relationship.